everybody. It's Abby Glassenberg here at Craft Industry Alliance. Hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. It is bright and sunny and beautiful here in the Boston area. And we are very busy getting ready for H&H Americas, which is in just a few days. So right before this, I was sharpening pencils because of course the pencils that we have to give out at our booth come unsharpened. So I had to sharpen about 100 pencils. Very fun. But we're also doing lots of other preparations, finishing up the press release for the Golden Scissors Awards. That's one of the things that we worked on this morning. Getting my remarks ready for the state before we do the State of the Industry panel. Just prepping all the booth materials, etc. And I'm sure many of you are in the same boat. And if you're not going to be able to come to the show this year, that's totally fine. I know there's going to be lots of great coverage on Instagram. So follow along with the maybe the H&H Americas hashtag and kind of check out what's going on. We'll be posting to Reels and stories throughout. So today we are scheduled to do a member spotlight with Laura Zander from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and hopefully Laura will be able to join us shortly. But in the meantime, I wanted to just give you a couple updates. Besides the H&H Americas preparations, another fun thing that we're doing here at Craft Industry Alliance is niche networking meetups. So this was something that actually was born out of a request from our members, which is a chance to get together virtually with other members who work within the same craft niche. So that might be quilting, it might be cross-stitch and embroidery, it might be journaling and mixed media, or knitting and crochet and weaving. So we've got a whole bunch of them. I think there's 8 or 9 in total. And these are going to be happening the week, I believe it's March 12th. And each one of these meetings is actually hosted by one of our members. And the goal is really just to meet other people who work within the same craft niche as you, which is great because it's really nice to have that feeling of people who get it and understand, the sort of difficulties that you're facing. Oh, Jimmy Bean's Wool, I see you're here. Laura, please request to join at the bottom with the plus sign. And also it's just a chance to hang out and make new friends. And we hope you'll join us for one or more of our niche networking meetings coming up in May. They're always a lot of fun and a favorite among our members. Hey, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm just gonna pop over here for a second and grab my dog who is misbehaving. Um, so
Fine.
Laura, how have you been? Tell us a little bit about what's new with you.
I've been very busy. I just got back last night from Vancouver, which is the headquarters for Connecting Threads and Superior Threads and Knit Picks, and got to spend time with the team over there.
Oh,
And
cool.
then last week I was in Nashville at the CYC annual meeting. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
was Lion Brand and Spinrite and Rowan and all kinds of great Cascade, a ton of companies that we come together a couple times a year
Yeah.
and really focus on what we can do together to keep the industry healthy and alive and yeah, and
That's
promote. And then I was in Texas last week as well, at our factory at Madeline Tosh. So working on, yeah, just Madeline Tosh and Dream in Color and Della Q and Jameson's is there. And now I am back in Reno as of this morning.
nice. That's
So I'm
great.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And tell us a little bit about you had some big news. So part of the reason that you got to go and visit with the
yeah.
local craft group folks is because you have some big news to share. So in case anybody hadn't, been up to date with that, do you
Oh,
want to just
yeah.
share that news?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we merged with what's called the Local Crafts Group, which is a group that owns and operates Barocco, God, the distributor for Lopi, West Yorkshire Spinners, Amano, I'm sure they're Lang, there are brands that I'm missing, Connecting Threads, Superior Threads, it's just all crafts. Yeah, so we're now part of that group, and are really excited about the opportunities that we have to help grow the brands in the way that, Doug and I personally just weren't able to, we
Yeah.
weren't able to finance it, ourselves, and we didn't have the expertise to help grow things.
That's
So it's
great.
great.
Yeah, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that news. And I don't
Yeah,
know, will you be at H&H Americas, or I'm sure people
I
from your
will.
team will? Oh, okay,
I
great,
mean, both. Yeah. So I will be there Sunday through Friday. Yeah. And then Luke will be there, and Shannon will be there, and Kate and Gudrun. And then, of course, like the whole Barocco team. So
fabulous.
there are
That's
lots of
great.
us. And
So
Amy, Amy will be there too.
yeah, so people can come by and say hello to you in person.
Yeah,
That's great.
totally.
And tell us just a little bit. I mean, give us like the really brief synopsis of Jimmy
Yeah.
Dean's, because I think you have such a great story. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, it's just, I think it's really inspiring. So tell people just like the brief like history of Jimmy Dean's.
Yeah. So in 2002, my husband and I moved up to Lake Tahoe from San Francisco. We were software engineers there. And I had built a website for Lorna's Laces, and Lorna Miser convinced me that I should open a yarn shop. So we opened a yarn shop in downtown Truckee. We had already built like a website platform for someone else in the work that we had done. So we used that website platform, launched e-commerce, and then just grew and grew and grew and grew, over the next 20 some years. Grew organically. It's always been just me and Doug. We financed the whole thing. We've been debt free the whole time, which has been very exciting. And then 15 years ago, we had a kid. So, that kind of like, we had to slow down just a little bit or change just a little bit. Um, and yeah, I mean, we've grown it over the last 5 or 6 years. So we've grown through acquisition. So we purchased Namaste, which we then folded into Della Q, which we bought. And it's been primarily I say buying, but taking stewardship of businesses that probably were going to go out of business. So it's, Della wanted to retire. So we took that over. Madeline Tosh was having a little bit of trouble. So, we took that over so that it didn't go away. And then Dreaming Color, Nancy and Veronica were ready to retire and needed to pass it on. Shibui, Darcy retired. So we took over Shibui. So it's really been a lot of us and our team, which comes from, we have 3 people from Shibui, we got 2 people from Knit Crate, we've got, Lena from Annie's, and we've got the cream of the crop, in my opinion, of a team. And it's us kind of deciding what new challenge do we want to take on, what do we want to dig into and learn more about. And so now this is another opportunity for us to be able to learn and push in other directions.
Yeah.
Just we've got more toys now. Our
Yeah.
stash has just gotten bigger. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's so great and really interesting to
yeah,
hear the insider's perspective. So thank you for
yeah,
sharing that. And I'm excited. So you now have a new position, I guess, at Local
yeah,
Crafts. So in your, I think
yeah,
it's like brand, something brand related. So tell us about what that's gonna
yeah. So I am the chief brand officer. So I'm one of just a handful of executives. Me, the CFO, the CEO, responsible for keeping the identity of the brands, of all of the different brands. So keeping the authenticity, keeping the identity through, and really ensuring that our consumers love what they make and that they love us while they're making it, so I'm really focused on emotional connection, customer connection, brand connection, and doing that through events, education. So like we have our retreat here in Reno in a couple of weeks. We'll have more retreats, we're going to have more events. We have this retail store, and then through social media, through ambassadorships, through influencers, collaborations, like what we do with Gigi and Dawn Barker. And we've got one with Adela coming up and Tony Lipsy. So really like amplifying that. And then also through customer experience. So I spent yesterday, I spent time with Amber, who runs the customer experience team for Knit Picks and We Crochet and their brands. and she's been there 18 years. You know, their team has been there 24 years, 26 years. Like, it's a really long-standing team who loves to knit and crochet and quilt and do craft. So got super jazzed about how we can continue to improve the customer experience. Because that's, I mean, one, we're crafters, we're business people, but we are crafters and we know what it's like and we know what kind of answers we're looking for and what kind of service we want.
Right, that's great.
So,
So I think that'll be a
yeah,
really interesting contribution and fun for you as well. It sounds like a fun job. And
yeah.
I wondered if you could just say a few words, I hope it's okay to ask, about the term private equity, because I feel like we've all
Oh,
been
sure.
through this like trauma of seeing the demise of Joanne and other
Yeah.
brands and things like that have happened. And in some
Yeah,
ways, private equity was involved in that demise. So, but I think, so this is a private equity group as well.
it
Um,
is.
so, but
Yeah.
and I mean, I feel like there's a lot packed into that. But anyway, I don't know if you just have a few
Yeah.
thoughts to share about that.
Um, yeah, I do. I mean, we weren't looking to sell. Like I said, our son is almost 16. He's not interested in taking this over,
Yeah,
so at some point, and we're in our 50s, and we got to figure out like what does the future of this look like.
right.
So when Sean and the team approached us, Sean's wife, Nancy, Sean is, one of the principals of the private equity company. Nancy has been his wife has been a longtime customer of ours, has been coming to retreats for years. And we've had a personal, or customer relationship with her for a long time. Um, they really care about this space. Like, they're customers. Like, they're passionate about it. And what I saw them do with Barocco, or almost more importantly, what I saw them not do with Barocco, and me talking with Warren, is what really was like, if we're at some point we got to figure out what we're going to do. Like, do we close the business? Do we shut it down? Like, we've looked
And
into
I
all
don't think
kinds of
shutting
different
it down or
options.
closing it would be something that anybody would want. I mean, as far as
No.
consumers are
So,
concerned, right?
yeah. So if we have reached, so what's the next step?
Right.
Um, I imagine, and we really thought about it hard, a better group to hand some of the responsibility over after watching how they've handled Barocco and those brands, and how they didn't mess it up. I mean, there's just still so much good that's been done. Um, so yes, I just felt like, I mean, the synergies couldn't be better. We already share the same sales reps. This is a great way for Madeline and Tosh to grow. Their strengths are our weaknesses, and our strengths are their weaknesses. So we're very creative, we're very innovative, we're very, I mean, or I think, we like to think we are, we like to think outside the box. And they have really great systems and processes. So we felt like, I mean, I keep saying it's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. We're just bringing two great things together. And my job is to make sure that it doesn't go the Joann's route. It's to protect the customer, it's to protect our local yarn shops. It's to protect the experience and to protect the identity of all these brands, and making sure all these brands don't get homogenized, and that they stay nice and distinct. And we have our team is really dedicated. We're like super on board. Like, we can do this. It doesn't need to be a bad thing. I mean, it just really doesn't.
I think those are really reassuring words and a really good insight and explanation of why make
I
this
think,
step. And so I really
yeah,
appreciate it and your willingness to talk about it because it does
yeah,
mean a lot, because people really care and they care about Jimmy Beans, they care about these brands, and they want
yeah.
to know that they're not going to change and they're not going to disappoint.
Well, and they will change, but they would have changed under our stewardship. I mean, you've watched the changes that we've made over the last 5 years. So I want to caution that if we're not changing, we're not innovating. But it doesn't change doesn't have to mean that we lose our soul. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's an evolution thing. And we have been continuing to change and we will continue to change. So, just kind of, and it is my job and my team's job to make sure that as we change, we are honoring, again, and we're not changing in ways that we as consumers don't like. And I think that that's something, spending the day yesterday at everybody there, they're knitters and they're quilters and they're like, we won't go lightly, you know? It's really important to us. So balancing that with having some very strong technical skills to help us amplify the messages and like really improve on the work that we're doing is and scale, but our job is to be a really strong member of the community and to make the community stronger.
And so, dovetailing with that, Jimmy Beans is a sponsor this year of the Golden Scissors Awards. This is our second annual awards that we give out at H&H Americas. It's going to be Wednesday morning at 8:30. Got to wake up early, 8:30 a.m. Where
Okay.
we're giving out 5 awards, and they really are to recognize excellence, which I think
Yeah.
is so important. And we just felt like there wasn't enough ways to do that. And so we really wanted to add a new way. And this is our second year doing it. We're very excited. So we couldn't do it though without our sponsors. So we really appreciate Jimmy Beans. This is the second year that you've sponsored these awards. So thank you so
Yep.
much for that.
You're welcome. I mean, we're
Yeah.
excited to continue.
Yeah, that's great. And it means a lot, I think, to the winners to be able to have a travel stipend, to be able to fly to
Um,
H&H and attend the show, which would not be possible without our sponsors as well. So
yeah.
that means a ton, and they can get a whole lot out of being at the show and being able to network and meet people and learn too. So that's
Yeah.
huge. So yeah, so thank you for
Uh,
that.
yeah.
And we're excited to see you in person at H&H next week.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
so thank you for coming on today, Laura, and just telling us a little bit about what you're up to.
great. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for the opportunity and the support. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody who
Okay.
joined us today, and we'll see you next week. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Thanks. Bye.